super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to From the Ashes on About Face Media. How's everybody doing? Are we connected? Are we live? Did I do this right? I think I got this. All right. Yes, we are in good shape. Hopefully, we don't get kicked off at all tonight. Hopefully, everything works the way it's supposed to. Damn, you look good.
You're operating things I have no faith whatsoever.
I know. I don't blame you either. We could be on the same page on that one. So, but we got people listening, and yeah. So there's an audience, so we're in okay shape. Other than that, we're okay. He's running. Re-engaging the security systems. I guess we're in okay shape. That works for me. Ladies and gentlemen, how was the birth of our nation? How was our nation's birthday? Did you blow some stuff up? Did you watch other people blow stuff up? How was it? Did you do some fun stuff? Did you grill? Did you spend time with family? How was it? What'd you do? We went to Seattle and we watched other people blow stuff up. It was actually kind of cool to not be on and have to blow stuff up. What are you shaking and shimmying? What are you doing? What's the matter? What are you?
I always struggle getting settled.
Just get yourself all comfy at first. How was the birth of the nation? Did you spend time with family? Did you blow stuff up? What'd you do?
All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to one of our good friends with some other friends there. And they blew up a bunch of stuff.
That's cool.
Dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
They legit crossed some state lines, got some good stuff. It was a very long, eventful. It was almost to the point where you're like, remember when you're at the firing range and they're like, you got to finish up that pallet before you leave?
Yeah.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah. We're doing mad minutes. We're doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of fun.
We, 1 year we got invited to, holla. What's up, Joe Allen? Hey, fuckers, Eric Reed. We got invited 1 year to Laramie, Wyoming. And, they have this thing. They open up a field and you show up and you drive in, and no joke, I've been to firefights that involved armor and helicopter gunships that weren't as good as this 4th of July fireworks event.
Dude, you didn't have shit.
It was,
dude, sometimes
incredible.
The most surprising things. What's your best January 1st, New Year's Eve or New Year's, whatever that fucking midnight bullshit is? What's your favorite one? I'll tell you mine. It's funny.
Well, it's the one I got arrested at.
I have yet to be arrested on a New Year's.
I earned it.
What'd you do?
So we got PCS to San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
We lived in a little town called Selma, Texas. No, we got there in October.
Notice, folks, this is not like, this is already starting out. I knew where it's going. It's not the big eventful, went downtown, bottle service, flew to a fancy city. No. I knew that.
No.
I knew that. I was like, mine's a good one too. Go ahead.
Nathan Hucker says hello.
That guy.
Yeah. So being the new guy, I'm like, hey, honey, let's have the platoon over for New Year's. Okay. We're new to Texas, and all over TV, it's like, hey, city of San Antonio, you're allowed to have fireworks. Okay, cool. So we have the whole platoon over, and I bought like $500 in fireworks. Gonna make this special for the kids, right? So we're in the middle of the street. My whole platoon is over. I am lit, dude. And I mean lit. And we're letting fireworks off in the middle of the street. And all of a sudden you see cop car pull up from one side of the street, cop car pull up from the other side of the street. Hey, who's this? And I'm like, it's me. What's up, man? And my buddy Brandon, Staff Sergeant Polk. And I hope he's listening tonight. And I'm like, yeah, man, been all over the news that city of San Antonio, you're allowed to let off fireworks. And he's like, well, you're not in the city of San Antonio. You're in the town of Selma. Well, whatever, motherfucker. I don't care. And he's like, welcome to Texas, sir. How long have you been here? And I'm like, since October. He's like, well, you should have gone to City Hall and read the statutes. I'm like, oh, is that what people do when they move to Texas? They go to fucking City Hall and they read the statutes.
And he probably said yes.
And he goes, sir, I can sense your sarcasm. And I'm like, good, because I'm not fucking holding it back at all. And my buddy Brandon Polk was a native Texan. He's like, all right, Sarah Williams, why don't we fucking step over here? He's like, I'm going to need your license and I'm going to need your ID. And yeah, I got arrested, bro.
You turd.
Better than that, we were going TDY January 2nd. I got released with a ticket to appear. It comes up every single time I renew my security clearance.
I will not, for the sake of ruining people's stories. I got bailed out one morning and fucking bailed out from my platoon sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Team leader. My team leader was not at E5, it was E6, different teams, not like regular squads, right? So my squad leader, but teams. So E7, E6 bailed me out. I fucking flew to a school that day. Like I hit a blurb on the fucking unit for, kind of getting arrested.
Yeah.
There was a thing.
You made the blotter.
I made the blotter, but it didn't go up to the Pentagon. So it wasn't bad enough to so I went to a school at fucking out of state school, like cool school.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and
so can I tell you my New Year's?
Hit me.
I got to leave some parts out.
Incriminating others. Is that what we're doing?
I'm with a gentleman named Chadwick Bernard Lopez.
No, it's not.
Milford.
You're liking that name up. There's no
Nathan
way
Hucker knows as well.
Yeah.
I'm in Manhattan with
like the city of
Bernard, but we're just going to call him Bernard Lopez.
New York City.
Bernard Lopez is his real name. We're in Manhattan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas.
Okay. Been there.
Not fucking New York.
Been there and partied there.
Dude. Do you ever seen the little ball drop?
Yeah.
They dropped the fucking ball there,
yes.
Right? It was pretty cool.
Manhattan, Kansas is not a bad place.
True name. Can I tell you the crazy part about it?
Nathan Hucker. True name.
True name. It's a real fucking thing. He was adopted. Toothless redneck. Anyway, so can I tell you the dirty part of the story? It's not really dirty.
Go ahead.
So at some point, I couldn't get cell phone service and I lost our friend.
Uh-oh.
And I wasn't from there. I was visiting him. So I'm wandering the streets and it's about to be midnight. And, people are like making out and doing weird shit. I'm just hanging out with my bro from the army. And this hot chick and her friend and her friend's boyfriend start talking to me.
Uh-oh.
She's like, I need somebody to make out with for, the holiday. She's like,
Eric Reed.
So I guess she had started the night with the dude.
Uh-oh.
Like a boyfriend.
Uh-oh.
And then lost boyfriend. And then was like, I'm going to get something to do for now. I didn't know that she meant to do for real to do. So I'm like, fuck, I'll make out with you at midnight. I don't give a fuck. All of a sudden I realized that in the street, her friend's getting like bent over.
Uh-oh.
And she's like dropping down to bend over, bro. And then said, earlier boyfriend comes. I think I'm about to spank cheeks, bro. In the middle of the fucking street.
At 12:01 a.m. on.
She went back to the first guy. Like just spun around, bro. I actually had nothing happen, but it was the weirdest shit ever. And then I spent like, I don't know, half an hour more wandering the street at midnight and then bumped into the toothless redneck.
You two Martha Stewart acting. So I love the commercials with Martha and Snoop because only one of them is a felon.
I know.
It's not the one you think. Martha is my future ex-wife, dude. No question. I adore Martha.
Dude, she's got that weird hot.
Uh-huh.
It's a weird hot.
And yeah, and
I don't get it. Do not like older women.
Dude. And the Saturday Night Live skits with her in them, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, and I'm like, damn. And my wife's like, what's the connection here? I'm like, I can't explain it.
I guess Snoop gets it too.
Yeah, Snoop absolutely gets it.
Has Snoop
like a drunk driver
guts.
Hit that shit like a drunk driver, dude.
God.
No doubt. Absolutely Snoop has. Come on, man. They have an excellent relationship.
They do.
And she had to say to him, look, man, it's just a thing. Don't fall in love, Snoop. You know Martha had to say to Snoop, don't fall in love, Snoop. It's just a thing. Say I'm wrong.
It's definitely not the other way around.
Yeah.
I love Snoop too. You know what's funny?
Because
I almost don't want to admit this because
Okay,
I
here it
like
comes.
his era rap. I cannot stand his fucking music.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand it. He has maybe 3 or 4 songs that he's part of that I can listen to, but for the most part, I cannot stand Snoop Dogg. But that's one of the coolest motherfuckers in the world. It's hard. It's like I feel like I'm committing a sin, a horrible like commandment sin by just saying I don't like it.
No. I mean, come on, man. We're on the same page.
That's
Look,
not
man,
as bad, but that's close to saying that Axl Rose is not the greatest lead singer of all time.
There we go. I was to say, there are things we can agree to disagree on. Snoop Dogg, I get it, man. You can't call her an older woman now, Rob. You're her age group. Yo, man. Reed, what the hell, man?
How old is she? Like 85?
Reed, what the fuck, man? That's harsh, dude. That's really harsh, man. The fuck, Reed? You're about to fall off the Christmas card list. Reed, how is the real estate industry these days? I hope you're doing well, man. All right, let's talk before our guest gets here, which his ass better get here soon. Let us talk about Carl. So I text this to you. So Combat Carl this week. I love the shit that we come up with. This
you mean
comes
the shit I came up with in response to this?
Yeah.
Okay. Motherfuckers.
Show prep this week was fun. So feds find new ways to screw over veterans. This comes from Hot Air. Back in the early 90s, we had an opposite problem that we're facing today with our military recruiting efforts. We actually had too many people serving on active duty, and we were overrunning the Pentagon's budget. The Pentagon, a budget? They had a budget at some point.
Yeah, lots of them.
As a result, the Army began offering some service members cash incentives to voluntarily leave early outs. No big deal. In 92, Vernon Reffitt was one of those people receiving such an offer. He received a one-time $30,000 check to pack up his duffel bag and go home. So what they were doing is they're handing you a check saying, hey, you're at 15 years of service, 10 years of service, whatever it may be. Here's a $30,000 check. You don't get a retirement. Punch your card. Congratulations. You're no longer in the military. And
they didn't get their retirement either.
No,
I didn't. I didn't know the details of it. So I read this, but I didn't know about that part of it.
Like, you don't get it. It's just a separation.
I assumed they just like gave him like early retirement.
That is,
they were like over the
$30,000 check.
Oh,
and I don't know about other benefits. Like I don't know if they get like GI
you see what I'm
Bill and
saying?
stuff.
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're on
neither
the same
here,
page.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, homeboy, $30,000 check.
$30,000 check. You get to leave the Army early.
Yep. Determined he had been injured during his time in service and be receiving disability compensation payments that helped him get by. But now the federal government has notified the 62-year-old veteran he must repay the $30,000 he was given. When he was unable to do so, they began withholding his disability payments. How did anyone in Washington, D.C. think this was an appropriate action?
I got a question for you because I'm slow at math.
Hit me.
Okay, what year did he get out and how old was he?
1992, and I don't know the age.
And how long have you been in it?
It doesn't say that in the story.
Well, in what year did they say he owed money? What year did they say he owed money? What year did they do the back pay? This year, last year?
I assume it was this year.
And he got out in 92. So that's 30 years.
Yeah. 30 years later, they're like, hey.
I don't have to be very good at math.
Yeah, look at you.
It's 30 fucking years later, bro.
And they're like, hey, you owe the 30 grand that you got for separation.
Hold up. They didn't just say he owed it. What did they do?
Yeah. They took it.
They took it back.
Yeah. Well, so
and like folks, you don't like this is what the VA, DFAS, all these DOD finance people. Okay. They do things. It's like, oh, we've overpaid you 10 cents for the last 20 years of your career. Oops.
You know, $100,000.
Now you don't get a paycheck for the next fucking 5 years. Yep. How the fuck do you budget that?
Yeah.
Did I make a mistake? No.
Yeah. How is this my fault?
Right.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And
I
also made a post.
So that's beyond. So now we're at the point of how they take it back and how poorly it's taken care of. Yeah. I said that nicely.
Yes, you did.
Now here's what else. Like, what does that $30,000 have to do with anything about his injuries whatsoever?
Absolutely nothing.
And I also don't care if it's 130. It doesn't matter if it's $3. The monetary amount, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that this is this money. This is this money.
You were given this to separate. This is for the injuries you received while you were in.
Yes. Also, aren't those two separate pays? Shouldn't DFAS and the VA be different at a certain level? Like, not only is two separate subjects, these are two different
pots of money.
Pots of money.
Allie is listening in the background and probably banging her face on her keyboard right now. Can't wait to get on the air. Dude. And so I exited the Army 4 years ago, probably going on 5 years ago now. And then like 3 years into retirement,
did you owe anything when you got out?
3 years into retirement, they're like, hey, you owe money from 2014. You were overpaid for a TDY. And I'm like,
you told me about
this. And so I did all the right things. I appealed. I did all the right stuff. I finally ended up having to go to my congressman, and my congressman was like, hey man, after he had it for 3 months, he's like, hey man, you should get a lawyer. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who has records from 2014? This is bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, during a routine audit, we found that you owed $14,000. This is bullshit, dude. Absolute. And so I posted something about it on social media. My shit blew up. Every retiree I knew was like, yep, they did the same thing to me. They do the exact same thing to almost all of us. And it's across all branches.
Here's the deal. I don't understand why why is this like culture so contagious that we keep running into that guy that his paycheck is not affected whatsoever.
Yep.
If my gear is dirty.
Yep.
Or torn from use. You know what I mean? Like, why do they get that culture of just like, you should pay for all your stuff that is issued gear. You should pay for this overdue library book, whatever, all these weird things. Okay.
I agree.
Or we overpaid you or this or that. And it's like, I always just feel like you're just fighting the whole time for each penny and for them to pay for the things that they're supposed to.
You should bring back your CIF gear in a garbage bag.
Garbage.
Covered in
you know what?
desert and bullshit and blood. Drop it on the desk and be like, best of luck to you, homeboy.
You should bring back equipment and the rest should be yours. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to
You're not going to reissue it.
You're never going to reissue it. It's done. And this is, folks,
it's in DCU pattern.
We're not talking about bringing guns back and lasers. That shit's in an arms room. We're talking about like a weird pouch that goes on your belt. Okay. That has seen 3 to 8 years of hard service.
Mm-hmm.
And now they wonder why there's a stitch popped and it's dirty and want you to pay for it. It's not my responsibility. But either way, I did not owe a penny. Do you know why? When I got out, you'll remember, it'll make sense right away. I was a rear detachment commander.
Oh yeah, you do.
So I went to CIF and I put down my fucking shit. I put down all this crap, and they're like, "Oh, this one and this one," and they're like, "Here's a commander's letter you have to have signed off." And so I literally turn around and sign it and hand back to them. And mind you, I'm an E6 at the time. You know, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, you can't do that." And I reach my back pocket and I pull out the assumption of command orders, and I show them the assumption of command orders. And I tell them to go fuck themselves, and they're like, "Okay, now the next item." I'm like, my pen hand is ready to go. Pen and hand, ready to go. I signed, and like, I didn't write off anything that I turned in 100% of my gear. It was cleaned, and that was it.
Yeah. And they wanted to play fuck games.
You want to play fuck games about stupid stitches or something I had a whoopee that was too faded. It had faded. It had faded beyond serviceable.
The whoopee is a personal item. When it gets handed to you, that is for life.
They didn't get my whoopee. They got the spare that I did for layouts. Yeah. And it still wasn't clean enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the one I use for layouts. You guys never see. I literally had a layout layout ruck, layout set.
Erin, did you keep your whoopee?
No, I'm afraid I did not.
You didn't keep your whoopee? Oh, man. I don't know how I would ever. I still have my whoopee. I still hunt with my whoopee. It's not serviceable in any way. Ladies and gentlemen, Erin Patrick Owens with Force Labs joins us. Erin, how the heck are you, man?
Really good, Rob. Thanks for bringing me on.
No, thank you for taking time away from the family and everything that you do to be a part of About Face, from the ashes on About Face Media. We really appreciate you being on with us tonight. So you are a veteran yourself. Tell us about your time in service.
Well, my time was more beneficial to me, I think, than to others, unlike a lot of you guys. And those of
We
you
like
that
hearing
served,
that.
thank you very much. I got a lot more out of it than I put in. So I'm very grateful for that. I served in the U.S. Army, active during Desert Storm, and I was never deployed. By the time I finished my AIT, everyone was getting rotated back, and then I was in for a rather short term myself during peacetime, and then the U.S. Army and this great state of Texas paid for my education, and I learned cybersecurity, and then put that back to use for my community.
That's what I like hearing. That's good stuff right there. So tell us about what you're doing with yourself now.
Well, I think you brought me on to discuss Force Labs, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a project that was in my heart for a few years. During COVID in particular, it really manifested into reality. And in August of last year, we opened the first lab in Castle Rock, Colorado. The idea behind the lab is, as a professor myself, I teach for Arapahoe Community College cybersecurity courses. I really wanted to see more given to some particular people in our community that struggle with the traditional education system. That was in particular, my heart is with veterans. So I opened the doors to veterans first, and then to neurodiverse communities, student populations, and economically disadvantaged populations that struggle with traditional education. I saw some differences in how much hope people had coming out of COVID. It was a very different situation. I taught the first class that came back to college, and I saw a lot of need. And I'm glad that we were able to put something together that is hopefully benefiting those people as they get to work on cool projects with us.
Tell us about some of those projects. What's a cool project? Let's set the stage here. So you and I met over a cigar at something called Holy Smokes. For those that don't know what Holy Smokes is, it's basically where guys get together, and it's basically worshipped over cigars, which is super cool. If you haven't ever had the chance to do something like that, it's an excellent way to kind of get together. And shooting the breeze over cigars comes together. Veterans at the same time, also doing good stuff for veterans. You're doing excellent stuff for veterans. I loved some of the stuff you were telling me about what Force Labs is doing. Tell us about some of those excellent projects that you guys have got going on, if you're able to.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And thank you for plugging Holy Smokes, because all of the, it's not, a lot of people look at that and they think that there's nothing like Christians that circle around a vice better than a cigar, really. But all the smoke that exhales is like holy water. You breathe it in and it's good for you when you come to
no argument from me.
Yeah. So Force Labs is a part of the Cyber Defense Center. Cyber Defense Center has been a long time project that I started back in 2012. And it's been rather private from a research perspective. We split off two organizations, one left in Dallas, one came to Colorado. And we were doing research, sponsoring things like what you see behind me, drone wars and programs out at DEF CON and hacking villages, and just really educating the community on some new stuff. Emerging technologies, things you would never even think of that you could use in domains of warfare. We came up with some pretty creative ideas and solutions, and tried to implement some game-changing technologies. During COVID, all of those things halted. And so we didn't have a place, to put all this gear and to put this stuff to use. So what I saw was a need to build a place that could be an extension of that lab for community outreach, or extension of the Cyber Defense Center for community outreach. Mm-hmm. And so we built Force Labs. Now the mission expanded because I wanted to inject the idea of community directly into it, not just the mission of Cyber Defense Center. And so we opened our doors to different types of projects. Really anything can be introduced and approved through the board. And what we do is we pair up the creative group and the people behind Force Labs, which is a lot of students and subject matter experts in the community, with an idea and a sponsor to try to either incubate or innovate something new. And then we have a part of our mission is a little thing we call it's future proofing giving. And so I started by partnering with the Veterans Whiskey Society and building some new games and things of that nature to raise money for veterans causes. We set some records raising money for groups like the Douglas County Memorial Foundation, and then we went and started doing other ones like Honor Bell, and we just keep doing different programs anytime there's a need. It's a zero cost add-on, and we just come in and try to raise extra money through, again, more vices and fun. So that just became a part of it. So we decided to take that idea and even make it bigger. And if we can future-proof giving to any type of charity, veterans cause, anything of that nature, then we try to take all this creative energy within this place and we try to put it to use. And that's been relatively successful.
So one of our regular listeners and one of our regular participants, the only person we've ever, well, second person we've had in studio, Hatchet says, are you taking veteran ideas to apply towards active military, like things like Space Force?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So we don't do defense. We don't do anything in the defense industry as far as building technologies. However, a lot of if you go to forcelabs.org, we have all of our projects are public. Anytime it's approved by our board to be added or accepted by the organization to try to pair that sponsor with the creative energy, where a force of one becomes a force of many. What we do is the force multiplication of that idea and try to bring something to manifest into reality. So I'll give you some examples. One of our students that introduced an idea to do was working with AI technologies. And he did this completely on his own. He was able to defeat a plagiarism checker that we as teachers use to make sure our students aren't cheating on papers. Well, he was able to cheat that system. We call the ones we use is called GPT-0. A teacher will take a paper that's turned in by a student, run it through GPT-0, and it tells if it's human or AI generated. It's kind of a neat idea, but it helps us as teachers identify if ChatGPT is writing it or if the student's actually writing it. Mm-hmm. Well, he decided to create something called GPT Hero that saves the day for students, and went out and published that publicly, and he struggled with how to monetize that idea. So what Force Labs brought to the table was we paired the idea with need and sought out sponsors to develop an idea or to develop that technology in something that can, if it can identify human versus generated papers and content, being able to put that and apply that for companies and to be able to use to identify human or generated code that's written by developers, that's like software code, and or content that they're storing on their networks. So that was an interesting, just taking one idea into the lab and then trying to pair that with an outcome that would benefit the greater industry, that would benefit Space Force, it would benefit really anyone. So it may manifest into an actual technology, and he may be a billionaire one day, and I'll be working for him. And I always expect that of my students.
Well, and that was going to be, I mean, Hatchet kind of beat me to it, but that was going to be my next question is this something that veteran is able to take this skill now that he's learned at Force Labs and apply it to industry where he can turn it into a job of some type?
Absolutely. That's actually one of our outcomes. So when we take on a creative project, and I know this sounds a little confusing initially until you kind of see it in action, but we're the creative engine. Where we take that idea, the thing that one person's bringing together, and we apply a community or crowd around it to get to a facilitated outcome. The facilitation means that we facilitate the trust to ensure that, hey, you got a great idea. This benefits the community. You may provide a new profession for yourself and others. You may provide a patent. You may develop something that becomes a proof of concept or a prototype. Any of those outcomes are things that we're going to support if it's a project that's approved by our board. So it's designed. It's also, we publish this for a reason, because we want our veterans in their community, our neurodiverse students, and others that are looking for alternatives to the traditional workforce development methods of going through, high school, then college, then job. We want to create a learn and earn type approach that says that you can learn while you're part of a project that manifests into something that you get a benefit from as well, directly as from participating in the learning activity. So let's say you want to learn AI, you come work on our AI projects. If the sponsor's outcome is a company or a new profession, then he can make you a part of that company, or she could give you shares into that company, or they could just pay you while you're doing the work. And all of those things manifest into the learn and earn philosophy.
So I have two questions. One, what kind of background does a veteran need to have to participate in something like this?
Well, and that's why I started with veterans, because that question comes up a lot. A lot of people are looking like you want to go get a job to do this. Usually you have to have a lot of experience. What we wanted to do is create an environment where you can learn it as you go and learn the technology that you want to work with. It's very similar to what we used to do with drones and robotics. I'd have professional hackers come into our villages. They would sit down and they had no idea how a drone or robotic device works that we had in our village. And they would try to figure out, how do I interface with this? I'm a pretty good hacker. I have some experience, but I have no idea how to work with this technology and I want to learn it. In our case, you don't even have to know hacking. You don't have to know cybersecurity. What we're trying to build is something that's an alternative to traditional education paths. You work with a mentor. You do have to do the work. And what I know about veterans is we're willing to do the work. So when we commit to something, we serve. And that's why I wanted to start with veterans when we opened up our doors. And we have a very small veteran community that's plugged into this group, and we'd like to grow that.
My second question, do you work with Bunker Labs at all? Are you familiar with Bunker Labs?
I am actually. I think you brought that to my attention when we first met, and I looked up the group. I think it's a really good idea. I like the idea of it, but no, I haven't had a chance to work with them yet.
I can't say enough good things about them, and I think you guys connecting, or you folks connecting with each other, would be very beneficial. They do great stuff, and I think you guys would be an excellent partnership. Just my humble opinion. So
it's important to point out here, Rob, because we have this in common. I'm a 501c3 charity. We are doing this for our community. So nobody owns this outcome except the people that are partnered with it and with the facilitated thing that comes out of it. So we're just an input output, kind of in something in the middle that hopefully allows somebody to find hope, find a profession, learn something new, do something different, and have fun in the process, and get to work with other people while you innovate and incubate. Everybody likes working on new stuff. And some of this stuff's going to fall on its face. Some of it's not going to be the thing that we all think it might be able to be. But if it's a good idea, we're interested and we're listening.
Well, we were instant messaging each other while you were talking, and I'm going to ask One Shot's question for him.
Okay.
Would you be able to teach me to hack into DFAST so I can fix all these pay problems that these poor veterans have?
Oh, yeah.
That was the first thing I was thinking about when you were talking about it on the prior segment.
Oh, man. Can we get a vet on that?
You're going to get me in a little trouble, but that's just hurtful to hear. And it just, I don't think that anyone should be dealing with that. And I would certainly think a community of, we call those hacktivists, might be interested in your idea.
Any of you are listening?
I'm not sure we can be a part of it in a formal manner, though. That's a good idea.
Oh, I don't care.
Take everybody's whoopee off and zero out everybody's debt for veterans.
If the government paid for your whoopee like they did for everything they buy, you just get millions of dollars, like for a toilet seat, and they can pay you back when you turn it in, and it's worth it. You can just pay it off.
It's worth it, man.
Yeah,
it's totally worth it. Erin, I appreciate you. I want to be as respectful as your time as possible. I'm going to hand you off to my hetero life mate over here. He's going to give you all the closing out instructions. I sincerely appreciate you coming and taking time away from the family and being a part of From the Ashes tonight. He's all yours, bud.
Erin, thanks for dropping in. I think somewhere in there I heard something about Making cigars healthy coming in and healthy going out.
Yeah. You heard right. Yeah, you got it.
You cigar guys are you. Find. I want to hear a doctor say that back to me.
I'm an Army medic. It's as close as you can get.
Erin, at the end of your time with us, you get about 2 minutes. Tell us anything you want to. Doesn't have to be true. It can be false. It can be any subject matter you want within reason.
Oh man,
I guess we're not on FM. You can be whatever you want. But if there's anything we glossed over, if there's something you want to talk about or something you wanted to bring to our attention, now's your time. We'll try not to interrupt and give you about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's excellent. I'd love to tell you a little bit, as many fun things that could come out of that conversation of just an open platform on your platform. That's an amazing opportunity. But I'd love to tell you a little bit about Force Labs' parent, the Cyber Defense Center. So Cyber Defense Center has been around since 2012. The really cool thing we're doing for the community with that, and veterans and everyone that's involved in Force Labs can work on this project as well, is we rolled out the first what's called OT, operational technology. It's the stuff that makes everything go and move, like traffic lights and manufacturing labs and energy. The energy sector runs on this stuff. The water sector runs on this stuff. The things that if the United States was involved in a conflict, it would be the first thing targeted. And it's what we're seeing Russia target in Ukraine. And so, that's something that would really be, affect all of our communities if we were to find ourselves in wartime in the United States. And so we took on this mission, and it truly is a mission because a lot of people are investing a lot with zero return. And so what we're doing is we built the first OT cybersecurity certification that has a pathway, and the pathway goes from cyber defense associate to cyber defense professional to cyber defense expert. We're rolling this out. It's also the first industry specific cybersecurity certification. It's literally an opportunity to come in and learn something that you probably have had zero exposure to, whether you're in IT now, you're an engineer, or you've worked with OT, operational technology, before. If you're a veteran, you're part of our Force Labs community, you have the opportunity to build this network. You get to work with other people that have some experience or a lot of experience, like the most in the United States that's available. Our subject matter experts are spectacular. And you get the ability to learn something and be some of our first certified OT sec. We call it our OTSEC certs. And that will be rolled out in October. So it will be rolling out the associate certification to a small group in August, and then it goes public in October. So we built a real live energy lab here in this lab that I'm standing in. It's about 1,200 square feet, and there's a lot of equipment over in front of me that simulates an energy lab with real solar, real wind turbines, generation, all the way through the transmission, distribution, all the way to the smart meter. So you get an opportunity to build something and be part of protecting your community. If you're looking for another way to serve, you want to give back some of that expertise that we all learned and put that to use, put that mindset to use to help our communities be safer that are very underfunded. That's a good opportunity to get in and get your hands dirty again and have some fun.
And I will put all these links in the show notes when this gets hung up on all the podcasts tomorrow as well, after editing and whatnot. I need you to know that there are people like me in the world. I would use this for evil. I would only, all I would do is make something that makes sure that every traffic light in front of me is green. That's all I would do.
Well, that's an easy fix, but I doubt that, Rob, because
it is.
The skill that you've developed, you're using for good now. So we like to say
I wouldn't be late as much.
Yeah.
Me being late's an issue.
I would use this purely for evil. Yeah.
Put your superhuman powers to use for good.
Yeah.
Sure.
It probably wouldn't happen that way. I like your optimism, Erin, but it's just I just don't. Yeah, I'm just not the person that you think. Anyway, can you fix his driving? You know what, Junior? You can Anyway, Erin, I sincerely appreciate you taking time away from the family and from your busy schedule to be a part of From the Ashes on About Face Media. Thank you so much for talking about Force Labs with us tonight. I hope you are overrun with applications from veterans and doing good things. You're really doing some pretty cool stuff. We're out on the cutting edge. And I'll see you over a cigar sometime, bud.
Thank you. And thank you for being a force multiplier for us as well.
Have a great rest of your day. And thanks a lot, man.
Okay.
Bye.
Dude, the brain has not stopped going.
We could hack into DFAS, clear all the whoobies off, clear everybody's debt. It's, I would.
Dude.
Would that be evil? Is that a bad thing that I want to
donate 100% of politicians' salaries to veteran nonprofits?
I would. Is that evil though? I don't necessarily know that is an evil thing to do. I don't think it is.
It's not.
Who said evil?
like
I said my
vigilante.
brain is spinning. I didn't say I was thinking of evil things.
It's like Robin Hood.
That's kind of my thought. I don't think this is an evil thing. I think we'd be
Wait.
It's a necessary.
Did Allie just said I'm Robin Hood if I like fuck up DFAS and like set some shit straight,
Yeah.
burn some fucking villages
Robin
down?
Hood.
By villages, I mean office buildings. With the
I feel like
VA
we're on a
out front.
list now because of this
Oh,
episode
dude.
tonight.
You're not going in.
Uh-oh.
What?
Do you have to go?
No.
Are you getting the head nod? Hey,
No.
baby.
No, he just wanted to
That
show
was
me
a
his
helicopter.
Hurry
Yeah,
up with the radio
helicopter. I was more on track. I knew.
show. Yeah. It's time for
He
Allie
does
says
this every
yes.
time. Every time I'm on with you guys, he does.
Yeah,
something
exactly. He's got his hands behind his head. And
completely
How's the radio show going?
And that's kind of how it is. So I wanted to talk about something that I have been seeing all over my socials, and I didn't hear anything about it until like 2 days ago. And I don't know what to believe. Every rumor has a small basis in truth.
It's
but
true.
have you
He
heard
shaved
about
his head.
Project 2025?
I am so glad you brought this up. I was going to ask you
The
about this.
fuck, really?
I'm so
Listen,
glad.
I know-
I've been getting questions about this. First of all, unmute your microphone. You're a professional now.
Sorry, I hit the button. You guys don't
Yeah,
pay
we
me.
got
I haven't been trained. I haven't been trained. So, yeah, none of the sources that I've been reading are credible. They're always one-sided. They're always like pro Project 2025, and the against Project 2025 are on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, but who are you, right? Like, who are you to be able to speak on this? Like, what is it? So we're going to defund the VA. We're not going to pay benefits, like education,
Well,
compensation.
We have had this conversation before, you and I. I don't know if you remember this. And you got on here and you said to everybody, calm your tits. And I believe that's
Right.
a quote.
I don't think I've said calm your tits. I might.
That I might have put quotes
the
around that.
office. That was the executive office of like budgets and ways and means and shit.
Yes.
So that's not the same thing as this.
Project 2025 is basically a list of recommendations from the Heritage Foundation, if I remember correctly.
Who are they?
They are a think tank. They are a conservative think tank. It's a list of
But they're
recommendations.
not government. They're not inside. Like they're not the executive office. Like
No,
the
they're
other
just
people.
they're. I can't even think of what to compare them to.
Subcontractors.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with that. They make recommendations. Let's go with that.
okay.
Does anybody know their location?
Washington D.C. Avenue K.
Really?
Yeah. Why did you say it like that? Really? First of all, how was
Because
Costa
me and
Rica?
Allie are thinking about stopping in and learning more.
Yeah. How was Costa Rica?
Wet. Very rainy. I got shat on by a monkey.
Ew.
I watched a monkey.
You're into some kinky shit, dude.
I watched a monkey pick a mango from a tree and lob it at the head of a gentleman walking by. And I'm like, this guy is about to fucking get concussed by a monkey. It was incredible. But I only saw the sun for about an hour. It was very rainy, it was hot, but it was muggy, rainy. There was no sun. It was just torrential downpour. But
Okay.
beautiful.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I would not lose sleep over anything you're hearing about Project 2025, and that is just my humble opinion. Do you have a different opinion?
Do I
Tell
have
me
a different opinion? I don't know enough to form an opinion. I've read what they are proposing, and it's horrific. And I've been mulling it over all day. Like, how could we fix this? One, how did we get here? How did we get here where the U.S. I was reading the other day, someone is $1 trillion in debt every 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of spending money on stupid shit, we're going to cut veterans benefits who need it. We're going to fund illegal immigrants. I don't even like the word immigrant because my parents are immigrants. They did it the right way, right? Millions and millions of people come here the right way. So we're going to fund those people. We're going to fund other countries because we're the fucking world police.
Mm-hmm.
We're sending money to Uganda and Djibouti.
We're going to fund sex changes for prisoners in California.
Yeah,
I mean, the list can go on. I mean ridiculous shit.
I think you're being silly. Right. Those are state taxes, not federal. I'm fucking with you, dude.
I have fucking hatchet next to me. I was like,
his right eyeball started to twitch.
My eyebrows are itchy.
People are taking segments of that whole, because it is a big thing. It is a big document, and they're taking segments of it and they're ginning it up. And remember I think it was 2 years ago where this came up before. Correct. Where it's like, hey, if you've retired, they want to separate concurrent pay. You get disability or retirement, not both. That was a proposal.
You couldn't get both until 2014 or 2017, where it became blended retirement, where you could get retirement and compensation, but it's offset. You can't get the full unless you get combat-related service compensation, CRSC, and then it'll pay the difference of what you're missing because you can't get paid from the same pot, which is stupid, but whatever.
So now they're ginning up, and if you read that entire document, it talks about defunding all of those things, and it talks about, you're exactly right. It talks about, yes, that is one of the things it talks about cutting. That's never going to happen. But it also talks about cutting federal aid to other countries. Also never going to happen.
So if we get a new president.
I like the way she says that.
You don't think that perhaps the conservatives and the Republicans would be like, we're done funding A, B, C, D, E, F country. We're done funding.
Historically, has that happened?
Ever?
No, but historically, have you ever had a president like that dude?
We have. Ronald Reagan.
Reagan was more couth, and I think smarter.
Couth. Ooh.
You like that word?
I do. I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. And I think I don't know how old you are, Allie. I assume you're, 24, based on what I'm seeing on the screen. But yeah, I would remember. See what I did
you
there.
Like that?
See what I did there. Helicopter boy right now is like, motherfucker.
No, tell me, how old do you think I am? Granted, you've known me 3 years now.
You are 36.
That's a genuine guess?
Sure. Yes.
Because you can't offend me. There's no offending.
I'm not making an effort to offend
36?
you. I'm sorry.
Seth, What about you? How old do you think I am?
46.
46, dude. Look at her.
I like digging holes.
The screen froze, bro. Look what you did. Fucking
frozen murder mode.
Look what you did to her.
I am 39.
Oh, what's up, bitch? Oh, look who's closer.
I will be 40. I will be 40 this
I get stabbed first. Winning.
He goes
Fucking
first.
second place is for losers.
Yeah. I'll get to you, fat boy.
Yeah, no, I'm 40 this August. 40.
Congratulations. Happy birthday coming up.
Thanks. Yeah.
Coming up quick.
It's been a good life.
There are, I mean, let's be honest. There are things that can be cut in the Pentagon, defense, the VA. I would love to see the VA defunded. Just completely fucking defunded.
I know, but there are so many, and I don't know. It's because I'm a VSO and I see the need. There are so many veterans that rely on VA care because they can't afford insurance.
We didn't say not give them care.
Yep.
We said
defund. How?
Fund the organization
Yep.
and transition from using that organization to a different system because that organization is too fucked to fix.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
right.
There's a certain point in
You
time
still exist.
where you say
you don't work for the VA.
It's non-serviceable.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
You cannot
VA
fix
employee.
it.
You don't work for the VA. Now think of all the money. If we took all the money from the Department of Veterans Affairs, dumped it into what you do, and now take all that money and all those veterans and all their health care, and I went to the University of Colorado for my health care.
Yeah, why the fuck do we need a separate hospital and a whole new system? Why don't we just get thrown in Medicare?
I don't know. I didn't create the VA.
And
Holy-
congratulations, now you're making $150,000 a year like you deserve.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of dipshits with fucking coloring books at their desk that don't have a job. Oops, sorry.
I wish that was a made-up statement.
Mickey Mouse has to color himself.
I
So,
can't. Why?
you don't
How did
think
we
so?
get here, you guys? How did we
You
get
think
We
it's
here?
wrong?
didn't. They did. They got so far beyond serviceable.
It's so bloated.
We cannot bring it back. That's the problem. Like the system is the problem. It's not like the system has problems that need fixed. There's a problem and it is the system. It's just the VA is so far gone from reality or from anything functional. And think about the financial drain on the VA system is what? Not the money that goes to the veteran that's in the VA. The VA system.
Salaries, tons of salaries.
Okay.
For bureaucrats, not for people.
Right.
And
The
fucking
people on the
people
front
with
line
coloring books.
are doing a great job.
I can't tell you how many times I've been just absolutely flabbergasted. That's a good word. Flabbergasted. There's just shit that
Great
happens in a fucking VA every time I go. Not sometimes. Like every time I go, something just absolutely nuts happened. And then every time I go into a civilian healthcare facility, I'm like, wow, this is the craziest thing ever.
So this is
And
what
then
it
I
looks like.
usually have a civilian sitting right next to me who's like, what do you mean? It isn't like this everywhere? I'm like, no, it's craziness other
Right.
places or
But it also
the other
depends on-
place.
It also depends on the VA. Having
I
them in
totally agree with that.
That's true.
That is very
depends
true. And the
on
person,
which state, and it depends. And I feel like so the VA has a standard, but the people don't abide by the standard, and so therefore these VISN directors, you can't fire VA employees. It takes forever
They
to
don't get
fire
fired.
them.
the fuck you
And, like,
can't. I didn't say anything about firing them. There's no longer a VA.
I know. but
You
I'm
don't
talking
need to
about-
get
I'm
fired,
talking
bitch.
about
You don't.
now.
Got, there's
I'm
no
talking-
VA.
Right. I'm talking about now, like southern states, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, they are trash.
Mhm.
Trash.
Denver.
And I think it's just the culture down
Mhm.
there of being like, I don't know. I don't know how to say this without coming
So-
across as like a fucking
No.
carrot. But
No. You said something really great. The
all
culture.
walks of life, I'm telling you, the southern states have it the worst because nobody
Okay.
gives a fuck because people are, for lack of better terms, too lazy to do their job.
And it's a poverty stricken area. There's a lot of different level of poverty and education level. There's lots of areas in the South like
And
that.
why
Okay.
is it? Those
Well,
southern
you
states
said-
are what?
Because of fucking culture. And you know what the problem with the VA is? The culture.
Yes.
So how do we
Yes.
change the entire being of a system?
You don't
It's who it is. It's the culture of the system.
use
That's
my
why I
lighter.
said there's no more fixing. There's no like this is a problem in the VA. This is the number one problem. These are listen, we're gonna take the top 10 problems. in the VA. The top 10, we're going to eliminate them. They are no longer a problem. Now problems 10 through 20. Let's think about those 10. Those are 10 catastrophic fucking problems. We eliminate the top 10 and our 10 through 20 is still terrible in a fucked system.
Mhm.
We are that bad because it's the culture.
Mhm.
Just talking about
And
it.
who enables the culture? The employees.
So fuck the VA. And I don't give a shit about them worry about being fired. There's just no more VA. Don't have to be fired.
If I had been elected in 2024, this is what we'd be talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The VA would be one guy with a red stapler in a basement. I believe you have my stapler.
Dude, I heard there was a party that was looking for a candidate to run.
I know a guy.
I've
got time.
Okay. No shit. One time, Grandpa Rodenbaugh was special. Grandpa Rodenbaugh one time decided to switch parties because he didn't like the guy running. So my grandfather one year ran as a Democrat. My grandfather diddled, played with local politics a little bit here and there. And he changed parties because he didn't like somebody. No shit. He's like, oh, fuck it. I'm a Democrat this year. That guy's a piece of crap.
Allie, what do you got for the safety brief?
Oh, I haven't even thought about it.
Besides,
please, if you have a pool or you take your kids to the pool, please fucking keep an eye on them. Like, damn, how many times are we gonna hear that kids fucking drown this summer because you're on fucking Instagram or whatever? Watch your damn kids by the pool. Period.
I was going with one similar. Hold on, let's see what Seth's got.
You know what?
Oh my gosh.
On this fucking water shit. I'm sick of seeing stupid Karens crawling out on the ice for a dog.
What?
If Baxter crawls out on the ice, call the fire department.
You're going to waste city funds and firefighter time because a fucking dog is on the ice.
No, because Karen falls in the water and then Karen's drowning and then there's paramedics, there's firefighters. Call for help for the poor dog, but don't crawl out on the ice.
Hold on now.
Don't even try.
Dude.
Go get the fucking dog yourself.
I would totally go get the dog, but I also don't need the fire department. Save my ass.
I would say any one of your dogs.
I was talking about Karen, not me.
I love your dogs.
I know. I'm getting them all day long. But
yeah, your dogs are awesome. There isn't a single one. I'd start with Leo and work my way down. I love your dogs. That wouldn't work.
Wait, Leo's at the top of the list?
Yeah, Leo is at the top of the list. Leo's cool. Leo is cool like the other side of the pillow, man. I love that dog.
We get along better. We've come to a mutual understanding. All right, what's yours? I'm
gonna go with very similar to Allie's. Buckle your kids into their fucking strollers. We were at the airport yesterday, and ladies, 1-year-old kid pitched out of the fucking stroller in the middle of the airport and hit the floor. And lady, what did you think was going to happen? Your kid wasn't buckled in.
Dude, those one-off rules for kids, like, you just never violate. Like, if they're in their car seat, the car seat doesn't get set on something, right? Because what happens? Something bumps it.
Forget about them.
Something fucking happens. Okay?
We're on the same page. We're on the exact same page. Allie, do I need to let you go, or you need to stay for Never Forgotten?
I can stay.
I'm standing though.
I'll bet you are. Ladies and gentlemen, for Never Forgotten. When I first joined the Army, I was in the Connecticut National Guard with the 1st of the 102nd out of New Haven, Connecticut. I served with a young man named Major Mark Schultes. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was drafted into the Army for Vietnam. He was an MP, a dog handler. Went to Vietnam, did a couple tours as a dog handler, came back, went and became a physician's assistant. I distinctly remember the formation where he fell out of formation, was called out, was a W-2, pinned on his W-3, called back out again and pinned on his major leaf. Because, when they commissioned all of the physician's assistants, he died this past weekend. We're losing our Vietnam veterans very quickly. This man was a huge influence on my life and was a great guy. Taught me all about leadership, was nothing but a huge influence and a good influence for me. Always willing to tell a war story when we were on annual training. I can't say enough good things about the guy. His death is a loss to our nation's security. So tonight, when you are dropping to your knees and saying your prayers you're joining hands with your family and you're saying your prayers. Remember the families of Major Mark Schultes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for participating with From the Ashes on About Face Media. I sincerely appreciate your time. We'll be here next week, and we really appreciate you being here. Allie, thanks for coming out, and we really appreciate it. Enjoy your helicopter ride. See what I did there.
About to get it.
Have a great rest of your week. Bye, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Clear there. And